Spider-Man never quits. I remember as a 6-year-old, I wanted to be just like him. I'd watch the movies 10 times a day, and after would leap from couch to couch, climb kitchen tables and onto counters when my mom would walk in. Marcus, get down from there right now. You're going to get hurt. I'd listen by leaping off the counter, gliding through the air and into her arms. We'd laugh at how daring I was, and then my dad would come in, and we'd all laugh together. I came from a caring family. I love my mom and my dad. December 4th, 2007 was a regular night. Same Spider-Man routine. Then I'd snuggle up in bed with mom and dad. My spidey senses started tingling at around 4:30 a.m. And that's when the front door of my house was blown off its hinges. Voices and the sounds of boots approached the bedroom. And I sprung into action. I flexed my muscles in my Spider-Man PJs and I got my web shooters ready. I was prepared to defend my family from these intruders. One by one, men carrying giant shields and red lasers came screaming in. I stood up on the bed, and even though I was surrounded by these bad guys, I wasn't going down without a fight. It turns out that they weren't actually bad guys. It was police from the Toronto Emergency Task Force conducting a raid. They came for my dad. I was confused. Police were supposed to be the good guys. What did that make us? I felt helpless, and I knew I wouldn't get to see my dad for a long time. What would Spider-Man do? Ladies and gentlemen, I ask myself this question whenever I'm facing a difficult situation, and the answer to this day never changes. Spider-Man never quits. I adopted this ideology since that day. My dad went to prison, and for the next decade, I found myself being the man of the house. I taught myself to be strong, learned how to kick a soccer ball and dance salsa, and how to pick up girls with this smile. I remember watching a movie with my mom, 10 Things I Hate About You, and in one scene, Heath Ledger's trying to win over the girl. So he sings, "You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch." It worked. He got the girl. So I had to learn to sing. Taught myself to sing. Many times, I faced challenges that have tried to break me. Yet, I always ask myself, what would Spider-Man do? After the raid, I found myself being strong for my entire family. It was tough times. I would hold my mom's hands when she'd cry. I'd hold back my own tears. We went to visit my dad often though, and I always looked forward to it. My dad gave me a strength like nobody else could. So my mom would drive me and my little brother 2.5 hours to go see him in jail. Sometimes the guards would give us a hard time. We'd be turned away and I wouldn't even get to see my dad. After that, I didn't watch Spider-Man. To hell with him. My dad was finally released after serving 9 years in jail. He got out and we started running outdoor boot camps together in Toronto. Close to 60 people would be doing push-ups, squats, alongside my dad and I. I was happy. We were building something together. We started our boot camps right in the morning before the city woke up. And I remember one day, out of the 60 people, someone stood out to me. They made my spidey senses tingle. He was dressed in all black, wore sunglasses as dark as night, and under his baggy clothes, I could tell he had lots of muscles. He was definitely a bad guy. Bang! Ba-bang, bang, bang! The villain put 5 holes in my dad. I was standing right beside him, and I seen it happen in slow motion. Then I sprung into action. I grabbed my dad's arm, put it over my shoulder, and with superhuman strength, almost carried my 200-pound dad up a 40-foot hill. I saved my dad's life that day, but again, found myself being strong for my entire family. Running those boot camps alongside my dad gave me a sense of purpose. Yet, in an instant, the dream was over. I began hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started smoking weed all day. I was fighting with my mom, my brother, skipping class and getting into trouble. I forgot about Spider-Man. I didn't feel the same way I did about him when I was a kid. I was starting to give up. But wouldn't giving up be the easy way? In Spider-Man 2, he almost gives up. He's so stressed and feels like the world around him is crumbling. All the hard work and responsibility overwhelms him, and he dwells on this day in, day out. This self-defeating mentality even makes Spider-Man lose his powers. Without his powers, he's nothing, right? He stops believing in himself. Does Spider-Man quit? I decided not to quit, and on February 2018 changed my whole situation. I jumped on a bus and traveled to Sudbury to live with my dad, but also to recreate myself into a man and get back into that never quit mindset. The 5-hour bus ride felt like I was going to the North Pole. But despite the cold, I had a really good feeling about my new beginning, and I was ready to be a beast. My dad would cook us huge meals. We'd work out every chance that we got, and we even slept together in a room in the back of our gym. I went to school, finished grade 11. I even got a dual credit in welding, and we were still doing free boot camps all over the city. I met so many good people here, and I was feeling strong and confident. 10 months in, my never quit mindset was put to the test. We were living in a beautiful condo on Regent Street, and I remember waking up to my dad's voice that morning. Marky, they're here for me. I knew exactly what that meant. Again, there were a dozen men with shields and lasers in my living room. They came for my dad. And then they were gone. My dad called me that night from the Sudbury jail, and he told me straight up, son, I could be gone for a day, months, even a year. We'd built so much, and the first thing that came to my head was, would we lose it all again? We had a tremendous overhead, vehicles, a nonprofit business with kids and a community that depended on us. At 17 years old, the easy thing would have been to run back home to mommy in Toronto. I would have little responsibility, and I could go back to being a kid. But my inner Spider-Man spoke to me that day. He said, Markus, you can do it. So I took on all the responsibility, and I realized that the obstacle was actually an opportunity to grow and become who I'm destined to be. I want to share with you all what these responsibilities entailed. I was a full-time student with exams around the corner. I had 15 clients as part of my snow removal business that I started. I was collecting rent from 3 different properties, managing 12 tenants, learning how to pay mortgages, GSU bills, property taxes. I was juggling a few girlfriends at the time too. Just kidding, guys. I'm not a player. I had to take care of my dog, Rocco, prepare my own meals, and cook my own food. I was being strong. This time, my dad. It has now been 1 year that I've been surviving on my own. I'm proud of myself for not giving up and for enduring what I did, then coming out on top. Many times, I have felt broken down. I curl up into a ball, and I feel like the world around me is crumbling. Like Spider-Man, I want to give up because it'd be easy, but I haven't. Whenever we feel stuck in a difficult situation, we have to look at these as opportunities to grow and become who we're destined to be. Don't shy away from uncomfortable situations, because if you do, you'll never know what you're really made of. Look at me. Today I'm speaking to all of you. Yes, my story's still in the making, but even today, quitting is not an option. Next time you're facing a difficult situation, you feel like you're ready to give up, I want you to ask yourselves, what would Spider-Man do? Thank you.